a lot of people want to sit down with clients and approach the client from their point of view, not the client's point of view, right? So you want to make sure that you look at what the clients achieve, like what they want to achieve and what some of their goals that they want, and then you attack that.
Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in insurance and financial services, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media.
Welcome to Stay Paid. This is Luke Acree, and you can tell there's a different intro today, ladies and gentlemen. Josh is usually the one who intros us in on Stay Paid, but Josh is out today. But I am excited for this interview. This is someone we've been wanting to interview for a long time. Little hint, we interviewed his father. It had to be almost a year or so ago, and his father is an extremely successful insurance agent. But I have a feeling that this guest right here is going to one-up his father. He is going to really teach us in his first year in the insurance business, made over $100,000. I think he's probably like 20 years old, something like that at this point. We are excited. His agency is the Invested American. His name is Alex Saleh. Alex, welcome to Stay Paid, brother.
Man, thank you, Luke. I am so appreciative and grateful, man. I'm happy to be here. I actually watched the interview from the one that you did with my dad, which is really, really cool too. So I'm grateful to be here, man.
Yeah, man, we're excited to have you. So did I get your age right? Are you 20?
Yes, okay. Yes, sir. I'm 20.
Yeah, 20 years old, made $100,000 your first year in the business. You've been in for 2 years, you said?
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right.
At 2 years now. So it's exciting.
All right. So let's get right into it. You know, you look at your first year in the business. What was it that made you successful? And I'm sure it's a myriad of things, but really what I'd love to hear from you is like, what did you do your first couple weeks on the ground trying to sell, trying to get business? How did you start out?
Yeah, so I think it starts from before I was even had my insurance license. So I actually started when I was in high school when I was 16.
Wow.
So so I was at the actual office when I was 16 making dials for agents to go run appointments for. So I was already in the works of it. So when I actually did have my insurance, because I did that for 2 years. So once I did have my insurance license, when I turned 18, it was a lot easier transition for me to move into me having my license now and booking appointments then, because now I'm already comfortable over the phone. I don't really have a stress or worry that I can't book an appointment. Now I have the confidence, because confidence is one of the most important things in this industry, because if you're not confident, you probably won't sell. But I had the confidence in myself that I can go out and book an appointment. And that was really the main thing for me, is that I prepared before, because most of the time, Luke, when people come in the industry, they need to make money fast and they're going to have to pick up on things fast, because if you're going to get good at it. I was grateful that I had the opportunity that my dad was already in the industry. So I had pretty much a real hookup where when I was 16, he allowed me to come in the office and make dials. So once I did turn 18, I had no stretch of time where I had to like get over the hump, because I feel like the starting agent.
Who were you calling when you were 16? Like what were the leads that you were calling?
It was straight cold calling.
Okay, straight cold calling, like you're just picking a neighborhood or a list of people that have a certain age and income, or?
Yep. So we would have one of our reps get what they call a non-responder list.
Okay.
And these are people that are turning 65 in the state of Oklahoma, for example. And I would blow up that list. I could have unlimited numbers to call. And then that's what I really started off. And then, I mean, through a couple, I would say after a year, I really built up the confidence to where I could do it at a pretty high level.
Now, are people who are 65, are they mean when you cold call them? Or are the majority nice or mean? I don't normally call 65 plus, so I'm curious.
I don't anymore personally, but when I did, it was a toss up.
Okay.
I mean, I would say about 60-40, 60% of the time, they're going to give you some reluctance. And then 40% of the time, if you can talk your way, if you can talk to the client the right way and to the point where they know that you're actually trying to help them, that's when they would be more open to listen to you for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So 16, you really, started to learn how to make the cold calls, how to book the appointments. So then when you got in, a few years later, you were ready to go, hitting the ground running. What was the lead source you were calling when you first got in? How did you, start running to where you made $100K in your first year?
Yep. So couple things that really, spiraled that was first. So when I first started too, I was starting to call it the non-responder. When I first got my insurance license while I was 18, I was calling that list. Yes, it was straight cold calling, but I've done it so many times because consistency is key. I did it so many times when I was 16. I did it for 2 years, right? So I built up that confidence with the non-responder list that I could go ahead and book a literally full 5-day of appointments, field appointments to go see people. Cause I felt like I had that strength and ability just from all the repetition that I did in the past, you know, but
how many dials would it take to book a full, 5 appointments or whatever?
Yeah, it would take majority of the day. So I would end up making 500 to 600 dials on the non-responder list, and that would be a day.
Get out of here, dude. 500 to 600 dials. Jeez. Okay. I love it.
It was a grind. And the thing about it is, Luke, and I'm going to get back to my resource point, is what I had mentioned earlier is like people are when they get in the industry, yes, they may not have as much money. They may be broke, for example, and they don't know what to do. So their stress, kind of makes it where they can't focus on their business as much. So that's why Cody, Cody, obviously his whole model is 92% of insurance agents fail. And I was just lucky enough to where I didn't have bills to pay when I was 16. I didn't have all these different things I had to do. That's why I was definitely in a power position. But back to the point about the resources, my dad actually pushed on me is about getting referrals, because this is a whole referral business, relationship business, everything. So through the whole midst of me doing these non-responder appointments, I would ask for referrals over and over and over again, right? Because at some point they're going to give you a referral. So he had his own strategy. And then as I went through the Ultimate Agent, kept going through it, I started building my own referral strategy. Okay. And it's just a multitude of things. And now every single client I'm sitting with, I can get about 5 to 25 referrals per client I'm sitting down with.
No way.
So now yeah. So now what I'm doing is I'm actually off the non-responder, which is great. But now I have different lead sources. So I'm actually using, I'm generating my own Facebook leads as well, final expense.
Love it.
But also what I'm doing as well, resource-wise, is me, my dad, and Jeff are doing these annuity seminars, retirement seminars. It's called tax-free retirement seminars. And obviously we're paying per client that shows up. But these are people that have 401ks, IRAs, 403bs. They have all these different investment accounts. And we just show them better ways that they can help protect their money. And we're doing those 2 times. We're doing 2 every 2 weeks. So we stay busy for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, really. And then we have that next seminar set up as well. So
what is your close rate at seminars? Have you guys have that tracked, or what are you seeing?
Yeah. So usually each seminar, you'll probably have about 10 to 15 people show up.
Okay.
Of those 10 to 15 people that show up, we're going to book about 7 to 9 appointments.
That's really good, man. Wow. Yeah.
What's cool about it too is the people that don't show up that register, because you have people that register that didn't show up, we get their names and numbers too and are able to book appointments with them too.
Okay.
But they don't cost us a dime. Of those 7 to 9 people that show up, even if it's a life insurance policy, even if it's a Medicare plan, even if it's an annuity, whatever it is, a long-term care plan, home health care, whatever, we end up closing. If we have 7 to 9, we'll end up closing 5 to 6 of those people for sure.
Ooh. Yeah, you guys got your close down, man. You got your presentation closed down. You're using a company called White Glove, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we love White Glove. We're not connected with them financially, but we've always referred them business, and we've kind of been partners with them in a referral sense for years now. They're a great company. Everybody listening should check it out. They do the whole seminar for you. You just have to have your presentation down and be able to close because you pay for the butts in the seat, as they say. I want to go back because I don't want to overlook this idea of getting 5 to 25 referrals at your appointments, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Can you walk us through like tactically or like strategy? How do I do that as an agent?
Yeah, I can break it down. So what I'm doing is when I go into these homes, right, obviously you're building trust with the client, you're sitting down with them, right? So the first thing what I'll do is in the beginning of the presentation, once we're kind of getting in the business side of it and the trust is already built there, right? Because if I don't have trust with the client, nothing else is going to happen, right? So that's number one, right? But I'll say, hey, I just want to stop real quick. Throughout this presentation, Miss Betty, I just want to make sure at the end of it, I'm going to ask for you. I'm just curious because I love to help people that, that you may be related to or family member. But at the end of the presentation, I'd love to hear some of the names and numbers of some people that you may know that I can help out just like I'm trying to help you out today. Okay. So that's kind of like the first touch point, right? So now she has it kind of in the back of her head that I'm getting ready to ask, at the end of the presentation. Then I'm going to skip forward to the middle of the presentation, right? So now we're into the middle of the presentation. I'm going to say the same exact thing. Hey, Miss Betty, I know I'm bringing it up to you again, but throughout this presentation, in the midst of it, if you have someone that you know or you're thinking about, I love the name and number of them so I can help them out just like when I'm trying to help you out today, okay? And then towards the end of the presentation, I'm going to hint it again. So I'm going to say the same exact thing. So that's 3 different times. So now she knows once this guy's at the end of the presentation, he's getting ready to blow me up. So she knows, right? So now I'm towards the end of the presentation, and now I'm asking, I have 3 different ways I'm going to ask this, okay? Because sometimes people can't give me something on the first one. Sometimes people can't give me on the second one, but usually people give it to me on the third one too. So I'll say, Miss Betty, I appreciate you letting me help you out today. I know I've asked you 3 different times throughout this appointment, but I would love some of the names and numbers of some people that you may know that I can help out just like what I did with you today, ma'am. I'd be extremely grateful. And then I'll sit there and wait, let the lady, maybe think about some people, maybe go through her phone, right? I've had people that say, Alex, I don't know anybody offhand. I really don't know anybody offhand. I was like, okay, that's fine. Well, about 80% of my clients, Miss Betty, have, a contact book or, some type of, maybe even on your phone, a contact list. Do you have anything like that? I mean, like I said, 80% of people do. So I was just curious if you did. Usually with these people over 65, everybody's got a contact book or they have their cell phone that they can go through, right? Even sometimes, which is a little crazy, but I've done it sometimes because I only do it if I know the client's more laid back and they would be okay if I did it. I'll say, hey, is it okay if I put my name in your phone? Because I do that for every client. I'll make sure I put my name and number in your phone. And then I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, I see some of your contacts here. Are these some people that I could help out? Because if they didn't give me anything off the first question, I'll go ahead and ask that too. Are these some people that, I could help out? I see Betty right here. Is she, is she okay? And then she'll start talking about Betty. Or how about Linda? You know what I mean? But off that second question itself, when I ask them about the contact book or their phone, they'll usually give me something off of that. But even if I get, let's say, even 5 to 10 referrals off that second question, the third question I'm going to go ahead and ask about their neighbors now, because I'm in their home. So I'm going to ask, who's this neighbor here? Who's that neighbor there? Who's that neighbor there? Who's here? And then who's there? So I'm getting all 5 neighbors. The next door across the street, diagonal and diagonal. Yeah. So that's really the gritty part about this, referral strategy. And plus, what I didn't mention is I leave this out sometimes, is when I sell them a life insurance policy, I make sure to get 3 beneficiaries, because when you get 3 beneficiaries, those 3 beneficiaries are 3 referrals, right? So those are already 3 off rip when you sell somebody. That's not even me. That's even before I ask the 3 questions at the end of the presentation. So now I'm calling all 3 of these beneficiaries. Like, for example, if it's a daughter, hey, Linda, this is Alexander. I just helped your mom out, Betty, with this life insurance policy. I just wanted to make you aware that you are the beneficiary on this policy, and that, God forbid, whenever she does pass away, you will be receiving all the proceeds from the policy, and I'll help get that claim process over to you as well. What a
great intro.
So now she feels like there's already a level of trust built there since I helped her mother out. And then I'll say, well, Linda, I know, Betty, your mom was saying, I don't know. She said she wasn't curious about your current life insurance situation. What's your current life insurance situation right now? Yeah. Right. And then now she starts opening up, talking about her life insurance. Now I know I just called her and she just met me over the phone, but there's already a level of trust built there since I helped her mother out with that policy.
Yeah,
right?
That's so good, man.
And I'll do that for all 3 beneficiaries. And then obviously you'll get a good amount of referrals from using the 3 questions at the end as well. But yeah, that's kind of the breakdown.
Do you find that's so powerful? That right there is worth the whole show, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you should rewind that, implement that right away, because then you think about it. Now, I know you weren't paying probably a ton for this list that you were calling on, but if you think about leads that you're paying for, you get 1 referral, you cut the cost of your lead in half. Right. So it makes your leads so cost effective for people and cost of acquisition. But I'm curious, do you know, like, your closing rate on these referrals, like how good they are, or are they harder leads to close? What have your experiences been there?
Obviously, the beneficiaries are the easier close because I already helped out one of their family members, or even if it's a friend, I've already helped their friend out. So that's a much easier close than even if for the regular referrals that I'll ask for the 3 questions at the end. If I get 10 referrals from all 3 of the last questions, so 10 referrals, I will most likely close at least 2.
Wow.
And I think I'll book at least 5 or 6 of those if I have 10.
Do you find that in your closing, because that is such a strong closing rate, so you're a great closer because your seminar closing rate's great, your referral closing rate's great. Do you find that people are basically closed by the end of your presentation, or do you find you have to really ask for the order at the end and overcome objections?
I've learned this from Sherry Summers. Obviously, you know who she is.
Yep.
I've learned this a lot, and I learned it earlier this year or earlier last year from her as well. It's like painting the picture to the client, because I think a lot of people want to sit down with clients and approach the client from their point of view, not the client's point of view, right? So you want to make sure that you look at what the clients achieve, like what they want to achieve and what some of their goals that they want, and then you attack that. Right. Because now what I'm going to do in this appointment is I'm going to put them in a situation where my situation looks best to them, because I'm going from their point of view and painting the whole picture. But I'm painting the whole picture to where I'm showing them that this is the right way. And then it's obvious that it's the right way. So it's hard for them to say no, because I'm painting the picture like this is the only way. Because if you stay where you're at, it just makes the situation look dumb if they choose where they're at right now and not taking the opportunity that I'm giving them.
So you spend a lot of time in discovery, and I say a lot of time, kind of more of like you make sure discovery phase wise, you understand what is the goal that the achieved outcome they want, and then the pain points why they want that achieved outcome, meaning what are they nervous of? What are they scared of? Why are they doing this to begin with? So you can push on that as a pain point. So how do you deal with, so obviously you're very young, right? 20 years old. You look young. How do you deal with closing people looking like you just got into the business, and the credibility and trust, obviously you're up against that. How have you overcome that? How have you dealt with that?
That's a great question. The crazy thing about it, Luke, is I've gotten asked that multiple times, and I haven't got as much pushback as I was going to think I was going to get from me being so young in the business and me sitting down with these people, right? And I'm always, and what I've learned so much is just be 100% honest with people. When you get in home, don't try to be someone that you're not.
So
what I mean? Just be your 100% authentic self. And that's what I've done. Like when I'm sitting down, I'm getting to know these people, right? So I'm getting to know them and they're getting to know me, right? I said, hey, I graduated high school from Jinx High School in Oklahoma here. I've been in the business for 2 years. My dad actually has been in the business for 15 years, and he's taught me everything I know in this industry. I'm extremely grateful for him, just for everything that he's taught me. And that's why I'm here today, is to help you just from the stuff that he has taught me.
I love that. Yep.
So I'm not saying I know everything, Miss Betty, but I'm sitting here telling you that I have enough experience where I could possibly help you and put you in a better situation than you're in. Right.
Love that.
Because now I'm speaking to the people that could be, a little leery about me. Like, this kid's really young. He's never been to college. Right. And I just be 100% upfront honest with them, to the point where, it's like, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and listen to this kid. If someone's going to be like that. Right. And then I show them a multitude of ways that I can help them out. And they're like, okay, well, this guy's actually smart. Right. So then I start breaking down the whole situation for them, and they see that now we've already built trust in the beginning. Now it's really, really hard for them just to say, get out of my house, or, that they don't trust me, because I've told them a lot about me. I've told them a lot of my personal self, and I've already kind of painted the picture that I can help them out in this way too. So that's really the big breakdown in itself as well. That's
such a great golden nugget of, like, when you are vulnerable, you actually build trust with people. So when you are authentic and real and transparent, you build trust, even though in the moment it maybe does make people realize, oh, wow, he is only 20. Oh, wow, he is, didn't go to college or whatever. And then you use this tactic in sales that I call the royal we. So utilizing your dad's experience, 15 years, right? And I teach people all the time, you have a brokerage, you have a company that you've joined for a reason. Leverage that company. Our company that I work for has been in business for this long. I've gone through this amount of training. And then through your presentation, you basically prove out the statement and claim that you just made, which helps build trust. But the ultimate builder of trust was, I'm not hiding anything from you. I'm very real and transparent, which makes it look like, okay, you could walk out on me, but let me tell you why this is actually really important. So I love that, man. I think that's an incredible takeaway for people. And also, when it comes to building the trust factor as well, since I've gone off the Ultimate Agent as well, I've told people, hey, I've been on the show.
And I pull it up in the appointment. I'm like, hey, this is just the first episode, so I'm going to show you a short snippet. I know it's pretty funny, but yeah, this is me on the show. It's kind of crazy. I never thought I was going to be on a show, but I was on the show. And then they already have that level of trust because I tell them how the whole show plays out, right? And they're like, okay, this guy actually does sell life insurance. Like it looks like he's
dude. He won a reality TV competition. You know. Like, I want to ask you about that because I think that's so good because, again, you're playing into you can build trust a myriad of different ways, but there's 3 ways that is really easy in marketing to build trust. One is through your accolades, right? And you're building trust through the accolade of the ultimate agent, being on that show, which is a public show. Second way is through testimonials. Third way is through education. You're building through education through your presentation. Testimonials, I'm sure you have. I don't know if you use those or not, but I'm sure you have. The referral in and of itself is a mini testimonial. Because I helped your mom, Betty, I can help you. So it's like, if you think about building trust, how do I showcase my accolades? How do I showcase a testimonial? And how do I showcase education? Because if I can showcase those 3 things, it's going to elevate. Let's talk about the ultimate agent. Let's switch gears a little bit, right? So you go on this reality TV show that Cody Askins puts on. Shout out to Cody, man. He's a beast. Go check out his interview with us guys. And, you're basically competing on this show of who's the ultimate agent, right? And I'm assuming for the most part, it's basically who can actually sell the most. That's really what it comes down to. And you end up going on this show. How was that feeling wise? What was your biggest takeaways from being on a reality TV show?
Yep. So I'll backtrack right here. And I don't share this very often, but it's something that I've been more open to sharing because I really don't hide anything. So the before the ultimate agent even happened, okay, my Cody was actually reaching out to me for me to be on the show. And I was like, let me think about it because I was really, 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 really struggling in my business. This was beginning of last year. Okay. And I'm so grateful. I'm kind of going forward here, but after the ultimate, it was just crazy too. So I'll break that down. But in the beginning, before the show even started, Cody talked to me. I was like, let me think about it. I'll get back with you. And then, which he was a little confused. He was like, why wouldn't you just take that opportunity? Right. After the fact. But what ended up happening was this was like 2 weeks before the ultimate agent. All my buddies were going to Florida for spring break or whatever. Cause this is, I think, the period of spring break. I told my dad, I was sitting down with my dad and mom. My dad was like, you're doing the show. You really don't have an option. I'm not giving you an option. You're going to go out and do the show. And then me and my dad got in an argument because I was not confident. I thought I was going to go out there and embarrass myself because I was struggling that bad in my business. And me and my dad, I was like, Dad, hey, I'm going to get a plane ticket. I'm going to go hang out at Florida with my buddies and that will be it. And then my mom was budging into, and she's like, this isn't what's going to happen. You're going to go get on the show.
Wow.
So I didn't have an option. So
that's amazing. That's great, man. What great parents too.
Yes. I'm extremely grateful because if I wasn't on the show, I wouldn't be to where I'm at today. Very, very grateful. But then I get on the show, I have my dad so when I first got my license, my dad had sent me a bunch of contracts. I did 5 or 6 contracts. He sent me probably 30 or 40. I'm just being lazy myself.
Yeah.
This was last year, in the beginning of last year in January. And then I'm getting on the show with 5 to 6 contracts. And I'm sitting here first off, I don't have my contracts lined up. I'm not producing a lot. I'm not confident in myself, right? So everything's going wrong right now in my business. So that's why I'm extremely nervous to be on the show. I get on the show, full 360. I mean, I was really, really scared to be on it. Like I said, there's cameras on you 24/7, or not 24/7, 18/7 really. And then you're just sitting there in a pressure cooker and you have to perform. And if you're not going to perform and do bad, you're probably going to embarrass yourself. So I knew I'm in this moment now and I don't want to embarrass the name of my last name and my first name, right? I'm not going to embarrass myself. So I'm going to go out there and put everything that I've learned, even if I'm not confident, I'm going to put everything that I've learned in the business and put it to work, right? And that's exactly what I did. That's the hardest week of work I've ever done. And that's what really separated myself from my past self in the beginning of January to where I'm at now, because the cameras are on me. I knew I had to perform because if I didn't, like I said, I'm going to embarrass myself. So I just wanted to perform at the highest level. I knew that there was really good competitors on the show, but as the week went on, I started gaining confidence. You know what I mean? The first day was great. The second day was great. The third day, when I was in the middle of it, I was like, I can really win this thing. right? Because all the sales I was having the previous days, I was like, man, I could really, really do this thing. So now my confidence was at an all-time high after like Wednesday, coming on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's what's crazy about the show is this builds confidence in insurance agents, which is just crazy, right? So now I knew I had confidence in myself to go win this thing. So now I was determined that no matter what's going to happen, I'm going to go win this thing, right? Time keeps going on. The last day, I worked my hardest day, put up the most in premium. I ended up putting up like $7,800 in annualized premium, which is just freaking amazing. Best day I ever had on the show, which was great. And then total production premium on the show ended up like right at 21,000, I believe.
Wow,
on
man.
the show. And I never thought I could do that, man. I was doing like before the show, Luke, I was doing like 10,000 a month, not even like maybe like 7,000 to 10,000 a month.
And in a week you did 21. Oh, jeez. Crazy, man. It's wild when you think about like what you just went through in the case study there for people to take away. One, you put yourself out there. Right now, I guess take it even a further step back. You had mentors in your life. Granted, your parents, but mentors in your life, God bless them. You should have a mentor in your life that's willing to call you out and say, no, you're not going to go sit on a beach in Florida and be lazy. You're going to do this show. You're going to put yourself out there. So you had people hold you accountable and push you to do something great. You had the willingness, because you had to take action, that you put yourself out there. You then had the commitment that goes, even before the commitment, you said, I'm not going to embarrass myself. So if you think of Coach Burt, right, activating that prey drive, right? And that prey drive was activated in you. And there's multiple ways to activate your prey drive. One of them is through this idea of embarrassment, right? Through this peer pressure. The same for me. Sometimes I put myself out there. I have a bet right now, which is a stupid bet, but we're donating like $5,000 to charity to the loser of who doesn't have the best six pack by May 24th. Oh so yeah, it's a stupid bet, but hey, good to go to charity and stuff like that. And I was trying to get a six pack. So I bet this other guy and he bet me. So, but I put myself out there, and because I put myself out there, I don't want to be embarrassed that I'm going to work at it. And then you made the commitment to go, hey, at the very least, I am going to put it all and leave it all on the field because I don't want to embarrass my last name. And that is what a great motivator, because most people, they're seeking out their why, which is the commission, and that's all good stuff. But that idea of I don't want to embarrass my last name, I want to live up to my full potential, is just amazing. Then you started to get confidence through activity, because all that confidence is, if you think about it, is just successes, past successes being stacked upon each other. If you want confidence, start taking action and then get some wins, and those wins will build confidence in you. And all of a sudden through that, you then made the commitment of going, I'm going to win this show. So you didn't start out with the commitment, I'm going to win this show, but you progressed to the commitment, I'm going to win this show. I mean, insane, man. What a powerful journey.
I mean, like I said again, Luke, I'm extremely grateful, because I think everybody has a breaking point where they take that next step in their business, right? And I definitely think, because I knew I had some of the traits and characteristics before the Ultimate Agent that I could be good. I just didn't have any work ethic at all. Like I was not focused on my business at all. And the breaking point in my business was me getting on the show, showing myself, if I actually work hard at this, I can make a lot of money and help a lot of people out. And that was my breaking point, to where I was already on the next step. The month after that, I just started doing even better and better and better. And I knew I could really do this at a high level. But that show in itself was a very, very big breaking point. Also, even with the success and everything that comes with the success, I think one of the big major things is obviously being spiritual, having faith in God and everything as well. I think he has blessed me in a multitude of ways. I continue to pray to him every single day, daily routine, right? I mean, I wake up in the morning, I have this booklet. It's actually at the house. I leave it right on my dresser. Wake up in the morning, write down what I'm grateful for the morning, and what are the goals I'm going to have for that day, right? Because obviously, as you know, Luke, people have their long-term goals. So I'm going to make, for example, I want to make $100,000 this year, right? I want to make $100,000 or $300,000 this year. But some people don't break it down into increments day by day. So I'll write down what I'm grateful for, pray, of course, and I'm going to write down how much money am I going to make today, and then what other goals do I have for the day as well.
Yeah, geez, man. You're making me feel like a slump, dude. 20 years old. I mean, you think Marcus Aurelius, I think, said that the quality of your life comes from the quality of your thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts, right, is that what you're looking at right there, your intention of praying every day, doing the gratitude every day. I was sharing with my wife this morning, gratitude exercises sometimes are hard. So I kind of reverse it and go, what if this was taken away from me? And that immediately makes me trigger gratitude. Like, what if my son was taken from me? And then it's just like the gratitude of being able, what if I couldn't walk right now? It's like the idea, it's the same thing, but for me to get into the gratitude train, it's like, what if I couldn't do my work anymore? What if I couldn't do this? And it's like just thinking about what if these things were gone? That immediately shifts me into that gratitude. Man, I love it. If you could, encourage, I guess, new agents out there that are getting into the business and you would tell them a piece of advice, I would tell you go back and ask your younger self, but you're already so young. So just literally where you're at today and you look, what would the challenge be to them that you would say, hey, just take action on this? What would that be in your mind?
I think what you need to take action in right now, if you are an agent, is, like I said, again, you need to have a set daily routine, because I talk to my friends as well. People are in different places in life or whatever. Some people don't like doing the same thing every single day, right? But doing the same thing every single day can actually be good if you're doing good with what you have, with what you're doing every single day, right? Like with what I'm doing every single day and with what you're doing every single day, that's a really good day every single day, right? You don't need to keep switching it up every single day. You need to keep the main thing and the main thing. And you know if you're not doing something good. So if you're not doing something good, change your whole daily routine to what you're supposed to be doing and stick to that every single day, because people switch it up too many different times and they don't know what they're doing. So you just need to keep the main thing and stay with what you really want to do. And those are all good habits all the time.
Man, I love that. Hashtag keep the main thing, the main thing. Okay, last question for you, my brother. I see the Detroit Lions on the wall behind you. How heartbroken were you from this last season, man? They made it so close. I thought they were going to go. I was rooting for them.
The last question. Yeah. Man, it is definitely frustrating to say the least.
Yeah, how does it feel to be a Detroit Lions fan? That's got to suck.
Well, not this year. And I think these years coming up, I think we're good. The past, I mean, it's more tough than my dad than it is me, because my dad's been an adult for a while and he's been having to go through it. But for me, I mean, I'm pretty young still. So just the gist of them being good now, you know what I mean? Because all the other years when I was a little kid, they just completely sucked. Now we've made good draft picks. We've got the team together. Yes, we blew the lead against the 49ers, but I think within the next, I really do think within the next 3 to 4 years, I think they get a Super Bowl.
Hey, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Knock on wood for you guys. I'm a Washington Commanders fan, so I feel the pain. I mean, when I was a baby, they were winning. Now they've literally sucked for my whole life. But, I'm a loyal guy. And like you said, you got to stay consistent, make the main thing the main thing. How can people find you, Alex? How can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can connect with me, alexandersaleh.com. You can connect with me on social media, Alexander Saleh _ on Facebook, Alexander Saleh. I can just give my number out. My number is 918-982-3810. And you can reach out to me. I'm willing to help anybody. So
love it, man. Thank you so much, brother, for coming on. Alex, you are a freaking beast. I'm super impressed. The fact that you're as young as you are, doing what you're doing is amazing. And like you said, man, God gives people platforms for a reason. So, I would tell you, make sure you're a good steward of that platform and keep doing what you're doing, because it really is inspiring. My action item for everybody listening to this podcast is I want to challenge you. If you listen back to this podcast, you're going to hear so many golden nuggets. But one takeaway that I didn't call out that I wanted to save to the end is he got on the Ultimate Agent. And so he was doing $10,000 a month on average. And he gets on the Ultimate Agent and within a week is doing like $21,000. And he said he's never worked that hard before. But if you think about what he did, he went and literally tested the limits of his ability, and he set a new bar. My action item for everybody listening to this is set a new bar this week or next week. Make it your week to work as hard as you possibly can. I'm talking like 12 hours a day, 13 hours a day. Just put it all in so you can set that new bar to see what your potential is, and you will be shocked how much you're leaving on the table, and then you will go from there and grow. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every business is top producers take action, so take action on that. Now, we don't have Josh to do a great outro for you guys, but I will tell you, if you like this episode, You know, what I would love for you to do is go to Apple Podcast or Spotify. Please leave us a 5-star review. Please share it with a friend, someone that you think needs to hear this today to help change their life. And you can find all the show notes and the links to connecting with Alex at staypaidpodcast.com. And remember, guys, the difference between mediocre producers and top producers is top producers take action. Take action on that today.